Hello, welcome to Whispering Pines Farm's YouTube channel. My name is Jennifer Johnson and I raise sheep for their wool. In this video, I am going to skirt Yuki's fleece. She's a ewe in our flock of soft Shetland sheep. And Yuki is a fawn catmugget ewe, so she's got a lighter colored fleece. And I Roo'd Yuki this year, and that means I plucked the fiber off of her at that point where she has a visible break. And this is a trait that Shetlands have, where they have a weak spot in the fleece. If they were out in the wild, the fleece would just fall off. But now, as it is, she's not in the wild, but I can take advantage of this trait and get a beautiful Roo'd fleece from her. Normally, there's nothing to skirt because I skirt while I am ruing. So what I mean by that is I take the wool that's not under the coat and I deal with it right away. I put it right into my comb top or scrap. On occasion, some wool might sneak through where maybe I was ruing a little bit beyond where the coat was and didn't realize it. Like this right here is some fawn fiber, just little bits. So I'm going to take that and put it in my comb top collection back there. Okay, so Yuki's got some pretty darker bits here, as well as lighter. So she's a catmugget, so she's going to have some color shift as you go across the fleece. She Roo'd really, really nicely. She was very even temperament. I was really happy with her. So one thing about Roo'd fleeces, they are the perfect representation of the fleece. So there's no second cuts, there's no clipper marks. The fleece is separated from the body exactly how nature intended it to. So I like that because it gives me a very accurate representation of her staple length, which is one of the characteristics that we look at when we're looking at breeding decisions or whether or not we want to sell the sheep. So there's Yuki's fleece. It's really pretty. Yuki is a 6-year-old ewe. She's built really nicely. She is Brunhild's mother, and she's also Duncan's mother, and we used both of them this year in breeding. So that's a pretty good testament to her quality and, you know, a good indicator of our regard for her and her genetics. Coated fleece, I coat all my ewes, so it's going to be extremely clean. And we get the micron data. Yuki's spinning fineness this year was 22.3. which is really good for a 6-year-old. It is very fine. I'm noticing it's pretty, compared to other ewes in our flock, it's a little on the greasy side. I don't mean that as a bad thing, you know, I mean, it is what it is. But it's just, I'm noticing it's a little bit more, there's a little more grease in this fleece than what I'm accustomed to. All right, now I'm going to take the micron, the lock sample that I get to keep for myself. Very pretty, very nice. Just beautiful crimp. She's really the full package. She's built beautifully, and now there's a gentle breeze today, which is unusual. Normally in here it's pretty calm. So that's gonna make it a little tricky. So this is a 3-inch staple. When I measure the staple, I don't stretch it. So this is unstretched. Unstretched, which I'm pretty sure that's what everybody does, but there is quite a bit of stretch here. Let's just do an experiment. If I were to hold the tip and stretch it, it's 5 inches, which is the reason why the feedback I get many times about our stuff is that it has this thing where they say after you've spun it and washed it, it blooms. So you think you've got this really fine skein, but then it kind of opens up a little bit. So, which makes it really nice for projects requiring elasticity, particularly things like any kind of like sweaters that you want to wear next to your skin. I'm actually going to be working on at some point here lace camisole, which I think would be a really, really good way to demonstrate just how very wearable this soft Shetland wool is. All right, so I got the photograph of the top side. Now I'm just going to flip one side over to get a photograph of the Roo'd side, and these photos are all going to be data that go into the listing on the auction. Roo'd fleeces look a lot bigger than sheared fleeces, and it's misleading. They only look that way because as I roo them, they kind of expand a little bit. They poof out. And I put a lot of effort into ensuring that the lock structure stays in place, because they know, like, if you're combing or flicking, that's really important. So those two halves that I create when I roo are complete. All right, Yuki, let's do a shot of that, and then I'd like to get just a photo of with the staple. There's a honeybee. Welcome, honeybee. I got everything. So I'm really enjoying working in here. This is the new addition to our barn, and it's great because I can work in here whenever I want. It's not affected by the weather, but also I love being right next to the sheep. So in here is our nursery, where the mothers and lambs are staying. And also my non-bred ewes are inside today because it's 85 degrees on May 20th. Really hot today, and sheep don't like the heat. There's Belva and her little man out for the first time today. So we're all doing good. Just really fun for me. Okay, now I'm going to roll it up and get a weight. Doesn't really matter. I mean, this particular one, I'm rolling it up so that the skin side is facing, but the Roo'd coated fleeces are so clean, it doesn't really make a difference how I fold them. Sheared fleeces, you kind of get some of the dirt from shearing day in the wool, but with the Roo'd ones, because I'm so careful to make sure, like, I don't drop it or whatever, so they're usually really clean. So now I'm going to bag it up, get a weight. So Yuki's fleece is 22.5, and I made a comment on Adelina's fleece, which was the first Roo'd fleece I weighed, that her yield was off, but it's because her belly wool is included in that weight. So I have to come up with an assumption of what belly wool weighs and subtract that so that my numbers aren't as skewed. All right, staple length, what did it come out to be? I don't remember. I never swipe the right way. It's always 3 inches. Yeah, I'm super hot, and I'm going to mark that as to sell. It's affecting my energy levels right now. But anyways, I appreciate you stopping by. Sorry I'm kind of wonky today. It is the heat. So I appreciate you stopping by, and I hope you can come back soon. Thanks.